Hello again. Today is May 14th. We are in Wolverhampton at the Wolverhampton Civic Hall, one of my favorite venues in England. This is a great town for rock and roll, and it's going to be a fantastic show tonight. We had a lot go on today. Europe was using the stage today to film some video footage to be used for an upcoming video for the track Days of Rock and Roll, and I'm not sure when it's going to debut, but it will be soon. So on this tour, we've been lucky enough to have a trio of young ladies who hail from the middle of Scotland, and they call themselves the Amorettes. Really high energy, high power, great riffs. This is a band that you need to see live. They are well worth your time. I hope they make it out of this area and over to the States sometime soon, because they need to be heard. So I had the opportunity to sit down with all three of them for a few minutes here while we were in Wolverhampton, and I thought I'd let you hear what they had to say. Talk to you soon. So here we are out in England on tour with Europe and Black Star Riders, and we have a really fantastic band that's opening up for us out here, and they're called the Amorettes. So ladies, if you want to start by introducing yourselves.
Sure, I'm Jill. I'm lead guitar and vocals.
I'm Heather, I play bass. And I'm Hannah, and I play drums.
So tell me a little bit about, first, the history of the band. How did you all come together and become a trio here?
I think it all started back when I met Hannah at college, and we sort of bonded because we'd always liked girl bands, and we always actually wanted to sort of think there was a bit of a gap, there. I just thought, this is something that we could work towards, and all these guys know each other anyway, sisters. So it was only a matter of time before we kind of all got together and had a jam, and it's been about 5 years now. But I've known you for longer as well. We tried to so many years to get the right fit of girls. There was a few singers, we had a few bass players, but it never really took off. It never really happened. But,
so what was it about the chemistry of the three of you that finally clicked? Like, what is it?
I've got the same humour. I don't know.
I don't know. I think we all play our instruments in quite a similar way, and it just kind of locked. Just the sound that we create, I think, just kind of worked.
I think we all had the same idea about what we wanted to play, what style we were going to play.
Yeah,
it's always just been the way. We've never really discussed it. It's just kind of happened that way.
Yeah.
Well, we've been playing together about 10 years now, so it's actually sort of know each other's patterns and weaknesses.
So, but principally, you're the songwriter.
Yes.
And how did that come to be? Is just a natural evolution, or was that a conscious decision?
I think it's more, I just sort of was the one that kept bringing the songs along. I think it's maybe a little bit easier for me to do the songwriting as do the riffs and the vocal melodies and so I guess it's just kind of worked out that way. And I mean, I don't mind at all. I love writing songs. So
I think all our songs seem to start with a riff and a title, and that's pretty much how they've all started.
That's how it evolves. That's the basis for it, and it's kind of just grows from there.
A lot of the time you've had a title and you just wrote the song from that. You've just kind of fitted a story around a kind of title, and you'll bring the idea to practice, and then we'll just sort of tighten it all up together and bring the song together in the rehearsal room. So
one of the things that I've been noticing, of course, because you're on tour with two bands that I work with, the fact is I end up reading a lot of press about you guys as well. The one thing that I have found quite annoying, for lack of any other reason, is that everything you seem to do is prefaced by the fact that you're three girls doing it, and that just doesn't seem fair, because you're up there and you're giving it as strong as any band that I've ever seen live. But how does that affect you and how you present yourself out there?
I don't think it's whistling. I think you do get a lot of stick, but I think that was one of the main reasons for starting in the first place. The boys would sort of tease you at school, and you think, well, why? I'm a musician. I'm not. I don't think of myself as a girl musician. It's you know.
It never really crosses your mind when you're actually on the stage.
You don't get called a guy band, like you know, there's a bunch of guy bands, you know.
Exactly.
It's very rare that we'll get sort of comments to our face. People don't usually say things to us, but I'm pretty sure there's the odd comment behind our backs, you know. But it's very rare that folk will say things to us. But when you're on stage, you just play like your life depends on it, and you know it shouldn't really matter whether you're.
It doesn't cross my mind at all.
It's not really to my guitar playing
matter. Yeah,
just trying to entertain people.
Yeah, that's all it is really.
I'm glad to hear you say that. I mean, I'd worked with other bands that had primarily female or all female components, and that really it almost seemed to define them. That was always the opening line of every review and every interview, the all-girl band doing this. But you have obviously already begun making your mark. I mean, the reaction to you on this tour has been nothing but stellar. You've already got some pretty big allies in a lot of the people who have seen you play. Like Ricky Warwick, still on and on about how you guys are one of his favorite bands that he's seen in a while. So how do you plan, like, do you just end up ignoring that whole female tag, or do you just take it in stride and just go out there, and does it make you work harder? Does it piss you off? What does it do?
I don't think we're ever really going to shake it. So, you know, it's one of those things you can end up sort of resenting folk for, you know, making a big deal of it, or you can just sort of get on with it. And I mean, it's not so much a bad thing. I mean, it's not a bad thing being a girl, but you know, it's just, I think it may attract more attention, definitely, because, you know, girl, it's still a bit odd to some certain people. It's quite an unusual thing, you know. Not to us, we don't really see that way, but so it can sort of attract a bit more attention, I suppose. People are kind of, ooh, girls, I better check them out, what are they up to, you know. So
well, I say if it brings more people through the door, whatever, because they deserve to see you.
As long as people enjoy it, then you know we're doing the right thing.
So it's all about the music. It's not about the fact that we're.
Now you've just while you've been on this tour, your newest record has come out. So how long has that been in the making, and any interesting things you can tell me about that process?
It's our newest record's been in the process since, when was that?
2010.
That was the last album we did, and then we had a wee break for a bit. We were just sort of gigging constantly, but we were never really writing new stuff until about sort of last year, yeah. So I guess it's been a process of about a year and a bit.
Yeah. Although it's kind of been rushed this last sort of few months. We recorded the album within 4 days with Chris Signorini's down in Kent. He's a great guy.
He produced it.
I'm sure you know. Yes, I'm sure you know about Chris. So it was a bit rushed, but it was didn't sound rushed, didn't feel rushed. But you know, for 4 days it sounds a bit. But I think we pretty much nailed it. We're really chuffed with it. Really pleased.
Because we'd been gigging so much before we went into the studio. The songs were quite well rehearsed, and we were quite tight as a band before we went in, and it just sort of went quite smoothly.
So did he have a great influence on changing the songs, or before recording them, or were they pretty much set in concrete by that time?
No, Chris was pretty adamant that he wanted it to be like as we play live. He wanted to keep that kind of raw essence about it. So, you know, that's why he put us in a room together, just to play together when we recorded the actual rhythm tracks. So that's why it was so quick, I think, because we just were more relaxed and we just kind of got on with it.
But he had a few ideas, a few things to add in, like, you know, add some vibra slap percussion, things like that. But as far as the songs go, he didn't really.
Yeah, he kind of just.
We were sort of quite. The songs were ready to go. Yeah.
I've always looked at the artists who I like as evolutions, or maybe the end product of what has come before them. So out of curiosity, before you really had become a band, or when you were finding your musical roots, what sort of artists were out there that really influenced you to go out there and pick up the instrument and start doing what you're doing?
I think for me it was actually the Donnas. I actually heard a song on a classic rock CD, and it was like I'd never actually heard a sort of current girl band before, and it's actually them that sort of I think, you know, we can totally do this, you know. They're out there doing it, you know. What's to stop us? That was a good one for me. Because there was nobody really current that was going on, like rock girls, and we looked up to like Rock Goddess and Girl School and things like that, but you know, that more the girl kind of side of things. But just, I don't know, Deep Purple was my sort of first love. Zeppelin.
But having seen you play live, I mean, I can see influences in what you're doing. You know, there's the palette's painted with, you know, a little bit of Ramones, a little bit of AC/DC, and a lot of the sort of the seminal bands that were the birthplace of this genre of music. But you seem to have tapped into something that is taking it to a different place. So that's more or less where I was curious, like, is there any particular musician or songwriter or performer out there that you go, yeah, that was the moment when I saw so-and-so do that, that's when I knew this is what I'm going to do? Apparently not. Oh, it's all good.
I don't know, like, well, for me, growing up, when I was about 13 or so, I saw The Darkness came along when I was 13, and that was, I think for me, that was a pretty seminal moment.
What is it about The Darkness that caught you?
I don't know.
Yes.
I think it was something that I was like, wow, this is for me, this is spandex, this is glam rock, this is everything that I like and everything that I've been looking for. And it hadn't been around up till that point. I wasn't particularly into rock up till that point, and then they came along and I was like, wow, this is my thing.
Yeah, you're the slightly more glam member.
Yeah,
of the
and
band.
then through that, obviously, I came T-Rex, Queen, and all this stuff, and then it kind of moved on to like Wasp and then Iron Maiden. So it's kind of just been a process since then. Stage-wise, for me, it's probably Steve Harris is probably my.
Yeah, I can see that in your playing. Absolutely, yeah.
And Pete Way, I think I'm kind of stealing a few moves from them. Yeah, that's what it was for me growing up.
Yeah, I remember seeing Iggy Pop when I was about 15 or 16, and just because he was quite not a spring chicken, but he was like up there.
You've seen him live?
Yeah,
really?
It was a gig in the Green or something, like they came to Glasgow, and he was just up there like raging. He was just he got the whole crowd on the stage. It was nuts. I just thought he's amazing. It's great.
Like I want to do
Brilliant.
that.
I'm right there with you. I've seen him a couple of times, and he's nothing short of amazing. I've even seen him with the Stooges, and it was top notch. And how about you? Where are you getting your drum background from?
Well, I'm just a massive AC/DC fan. And I love Rose Tattoo as well. But I'm also a big Joan Jett fan as well. I'm quite influenced by her kind of attitude and like even style in a way.
Hairdo.
Yeah, hairdo.
Well, let's see. The last time I hung out with Joan, she was shaved bald though. So.
Yeah. She had short
She
hair.
did that though. She was really cool with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she defines it. Yeah, she's an amazing person. Now, I had heard in some, or not heard, but read in some of the press I had been following about you, that when this organization came together, that you basically joined and kind of was like, you're going to be in this band, now learn the instrument. Would that be accurate?
Me, pretty much, yeah. I mean, I'd started playing bass at school, sort of first and second year, but I'd never really done anything with it. And I had a white Thunderbird, like the guy from The Darkness. That was what I had. And I'd never really played it, and then I left school, and I was like, oh, I'm going to go art school. I'm going to do this. But I wasn't interested in music so much. And then their bassist left, and they were like, right, we've got a gig next weekend. You need to fill in. And I was like,
Next weekend.
Yeah. Do you remember that at the Harleys? Yeah. So I had literally a week to learn the songs, but I've been here ever since.
It worked.
Yeah, it clicked and I absolutely
loved
loved it. Yeah, totally. It was like, wow.
Yeah, because you've been playing bass, sitting a lot in your room, and you were getting quite good. You were playing along to CDs and things.
Kinda, on and off. Yeah.
I hadn't for a while before you.
before you asked me to join.
Yeah.
So just kind of had to get on with it, I suppose.
No choice.
Yeah.
So you're out here for approximately another week opening for these guys. Then what's next for the Amorettes?
We've got a few shows coming up in Europe, which we're really excited about. We've never been out there so much before. A couple of shows in Netherlands, Belgium, Paris, British Steel Festival.
Are these on your own, or are you doing dates with somebody else, or?
Just our own.
Yeah, it was like festivals, so I can't remember who's playing them, but yeah, we're just sort of.
And we've got a festival in Camden, in London, in May.
Yeah.
Camden Rocks, it's called. I think Funeral for a Friend, Black Spiders will be on that one, so that should be quite good.
Yeah, just playing
Yeah,
as much as
just
possible.
building the fan base.
Getting the album out there,
Yeah.
I think. Just
Now, I was lucky enough to see a rough cut of a video that you've done for a single on this album. When is that going to be released so people can see that?
That's out now.
It is out now.
It's out now. It was out
Fantastic.
last week, wasn't it? Yeah.
We'll put a link to that so people can check it out.
Yep.
So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to cover, and I thank you for your time, and we'll go from there.
Thank you.
Now, the one last thing, I don't know if you've had any of the experiences. One of the things that I do on this blog a lot is it's more or less stories, for the most part, about things that have happened on the road, and you know the bizarre little lifestyle that we've all chosen to spend our life in. And constantly, I'm aware of the fact that some of the things that happen to us out here, if one of those things happened to the average person, they'd probably tell everybody they ever met for the rest of their lives this story, and they happen to us on an almost daily basis out here. Any of you have one that you could share that you can think of off the top of your head?
I remember, it was quite fun. It's not too bad, it's quite funny. It wasn't actually on the road, but it was one time we played. I don't want to say the venue because they might see this, I don't know. It was a venue in Glasgow a few years ago, and we just got in for a gig. I think we were supporting the LA Guns or something, and Hannah was feeling a bit ill, so went to the bathroom for a bit of a vom. And about 10 minutes later, the owner came up to us and she's like, "Girls, I'm so sorry, the bathroom in a state, there's vomit everywhere. Please have some free drinks on me. The bathroom is a state." And we were just like, "Oh, thanks."
Fantastic.
It just reminded me.
That was a good one.
That's one way to get it.
Well, thank you very much, and we've really enjoyed having you out here, and well, I'm sure this won't be the last time, so.
Thank you.